Shalom, Yasharallah. This your brother Dawada, coming back at you with this here truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that rule well. Salaki. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that rule well. Salutation and much love for you, Akim, pushing this truth and sincerity over the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. So I want to jump into this here article real fast. I'm not going to read the whole article, but I'm going to touch on a couple bases here. You know, it says from RT, it says, Battle for the Galaxy. New paper reveals how UK is making extensive plans for war in space. All right. Now, you know, if you read through this here article and if you've been following up on their ideology as far as why they going into having a so-called space command or space military, space force, basically, in modern times, all right, they would say that, oh, it's you know, basically to shoot down rogue satellites. You know, like if a satellite falls out of operation and it's falling back to Earth, they could shoot it down, or for meteorites and things like that. Also for you know, if they was to go to war with other countries, their idea is to be able to take out their satellites, all right, so that the nation couldn't communicate. In which, you know, that's a very viable game plan, you know, because again, you could imagine here in America, if you know, another country was to go to war with America, just think on the lowest level, if they was to basically put an EMP up there and knock out all the satellites over here in America, right? You know what I'm saying? None of your cell phones will work, none of your internets will work, nothing like that will work, all right? So you could think about the military and everything like that, with how they would explain it. The military wouldn't be able to communicate, so they'd be like sitting ducks. But in reality, the military uses a whole different communication line than what the normal public uses. All right, so even if there was a straight blackout over America, they would still be able to communicate. All right, and this is not what their plan is, because when you go back to it was before Ronald Reagan, there was another president before Ronald Reagan that had I forgot what it was called, the SDI program, the Space Defense Initiative or something like that. All right, is what they called it back then. And then you had Ronald Reagan, who I forgot what his shit was called. He had pretty much put forth a Space Force as well. All right. Then you have, I think it was called the Star Wars program. All right. Then you have Donald Trump, who so-called wrote into action the so-called Space Force. Right. People think that this is all something new, but in reality, they have been developing this since a long ass time ago. All right. They've been developing laser weapons. All right. Kinetic weapons. All right. All kind of things like that for space. All right. And it's not really to shoot down satellites and these meteorites and things like that. That's just to cover up to, you know, so that they can sell it to the population. Just like how after September 11th, you know, they used the guise of, you know, the so-called terrorists to the reason why they was building this new infrastructure, putting cameras up everywhere. All right. They needed this new identification to so-called track and find terrorists. But they ain't found not one terrorist yet, man. They ain't stopped not one terrorist attack. Well, you really ain't had no terrorist attack. But if you want to count what Esau and these damn mass shootings and things like that, man, I'm like, how come you ain't stopped none of them, man? They on the regular internet, you know, and so on and so forth, where the regular FBI can see all the shit that they doing. So I don't understand what the hell y'all need all this here surveillance state for. It's not for stopping terrorism, but they sold it to the population like that, and the population didn't ask no questions. So in the same sense here, oh yeah, we don't want meteorites falling on us and killing us. And like, when was the last time a meteorite came down and hit the earth and really did some damage like that, man? All right, you know, they go back to the so-called dinosaurs extinction level and everything like that. Like, yeah, right. But nevertheless, in reality, all of that happened in the time of the flood, all right? And you can see basically how everything was buried all at once. It was all covered all at once. There wasn't no bones scattered or nothing like that. It was all covered at once, all right? Like a big-ass tsunami wave hit their ass and flooded their ass out. But nevertheless, this is all based on, you know, the prophecies in the scriptures dealing with Yahushua and his return, coming in so-called UFOs, all right? They see there's multiple sightings. In fact, just the other day, there was an article about how it was the Pentagon says they have way more information, videos, and things like that of so-called UFOs that they've had for the longest time. They know that this shit is out there, man. All right, so like when you having your everyday conversation with people, you talk about so-called UFOs. Oh, you're crazy, you're bugged out, and this and that. If they had it, they would have told us about it. I'm like, no, motherfucker, they wouldn't tell you about it. All right, but nevertheless, now it's all coming out. So you look at the pride of these people, man. These are things that they just don't look into. In reality, you know, you have to understand what a government is, all right? It's mind control. You have 1% controlling the 99%, right? Now, they make you seem like everything is under control. This is why they show you so much chaos on the news and everything like that. They show you the chaos, right? And then they give you the reassurance that they have everything under control. They got the answer. They can fix everything. So you constantly look to them to fix everything, all right? But if they was to tell you that there was some kind of superior power out there, all right, that could do some kind of damage to them, then they would be afraid all day and every day, man. All right, so the normal population wouldn't be walking around like this, man. In fact, that would be a lot better. They'd be like, yo, man, the Lord is out there, and he got his angels in them chariots. You know what I'm saying? And y'all be fucking around, y'all gonna get Sodom and Gomorrah. People would just actually be on point at that point in time, you know, if they gave them the real evidence, like, look, bro, this is out there. But yet and still, you gotta understand, we got this damn devil ruling, right? And he's gonna sit here and tell you lies so that what? So that you can wind up getting caught up in that nuclear bath, man. He don't care if your ass dies, man. He's trying to set your ass up to get caught, man. He just want to sit there and laugh at your ass, man. All right. So it says, Battle for the Galaxy. New paper reveals how UK is making extensive plans for war in space. Space battles are the stuff of science fiction, but recent technological and potential developments have done much to make the prospect an ever more likely reality, and it's clear that the UK wants to get in on the action. On March 22nd, the UK government published its Defense Command Paper 2021, a 76-page document offering further clarity on the previous week's integrated review, which outlined London's grand vision for its role in the world over the next decade in respect of military and intelligence capabilities and operations. And an accompanying forward authored by Defense Secretary Ben Wallace, former British Army soldier and director of the military technology firm, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that, who has previously condoned torture, spells out the paper disturbing dimensions and some details. Strikingly, it contained dozens of references to space and military context. The heavens were said to be of growing significance as an operational and warfare domain. A dedication section described Whitehall's plan to secure the dominance in the sphere, right? And so again, they would tell you, oh, it's because of the satellites, and if we can knock out their satellites, they can't really move, and you know, there's an increase in global warming. They'll come out with some global warming, and we got more and more meteorites coming towards the earth and everything like that. Like, bro, we not gonna get hit by them shits, man. All right, that ain't nowhere in the prophecies that no big ass meteorite is coming down. You gonna have thermonuclear missiles rain down on your ass, and plus you got the Van Allen radiation belt, which the Lord put up there to protect us from that type of shit coming in anyway. All right, look that up. This is why they ain't never really went to the moon, man. All right, it says space, and again, this whole space exploration is all a cover up for, you know, them preparing to fight the Lord, man. All right, again, if they was to come out and tell you, like, look, bro, we're not really trying to get to the moon. We're trying to develop thermonuclear missiles. So at the end all be all, we can have a thorough world war and take out the majority of the people on the planet Earth with this. Because if you go back to this dude named Albert Pike, all right, who outlined in detail World War I, World War II, and World War III damn near 100 years before the First World War even took place, all right, and who all the players was going to be in the war and what the outcome of all these wars was going to be. All right, so these is all being orchestrated from Jump Street, man. All right, because they have this thing that they call order out of chaos, the Hegelian dialectic, man. All right, problem, reaction, solution. They create the chaos just to bring in order, man. All right, but you have to understand, again, like I said, man, if they was to come out and tell you, like, yo, man, we need to raise up this military budget and keep building on this because, you know, the Lord is going to come back and he's going to judge the earth for all their wickedness. All right, and he's going to judge us Edomites for taking his children, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans into captivity. He's going to come back and try to kill us over that, so we're going to try to fight his ass. Everybody will look at the so-called white man as the damn devil, man. He's been hidden as being a devil for the longest time, man. It would be obvious that that is what would be going on. Notice how the so-called white man still ain't told us that we're the children of Israel yet, right? Because if he told us we were the children of Israel and that he was the Edomites, we could just clearly go in the Bible and see, oh yeah, the Lord about to destroy your ass over this, man. What the fuck we listening to your ass for, man? All right, this is the Wizard of Oz all over again. That little short dude came from behind a curtain and told you it was all manipulation. You wouldn't be listening to him. He wouldn't be so rich. You wouldn't be bringing all your resources unto him to ask for some damn questions. All right. It says space and our assured access to it is fundamental to military operations. Loss of or disruption to the space domain could severely impact our ability to undertake most defense tasks. It read, we must develop military, civilian, and commercial capabilities that are resilient to and protect from space threats. What space threats? All right, Yahweh Shah's return. We must also help shape an international environment of behaviors and operating norms that deters adversaries. What adversaries, man? All right, you the one over here poking at Russia and China, man. You the one stirring them motherfuckers up. You the one over there stirring up Iran, man. Iran ain't invaded nobody in the, like, fuck. I can't even remember the last time Iran. I think the last time Iran invaded some. No, it wasn't when Xerxes was around, but a little bit after that, Iran ain't invaded nobody in no long ass time. China really ain't invaded nobody in a long ass time. Russia, I think the last time they was so called they got invaded by Adolf Hitler, man. All right, so well, they kind of invaded Georgia, and they invaded the Ukraine, but that wasn't a real invasion, man. That was their own lands anyway, and that's all according to prophecy. You know, the Lord putting the hooks back into their jaws, man, bringing them back together. But these nations, these nation states, they're not a threat. They're not on the offensive. They're not on an offensive outpost like America is. America's the only one that then left home and has got his hand in everybody else's business, man. Russia and China, they right there at home doing their own business, building up their own nations, man. All right, but nevertheless, this is all going into basically them preparing to fight the Lord when the Lord returns, man. This is a pretty good article to read all the way through. You know, it's it's got a lot of filler in there, but nevertheless, you get the point. But we're gonna jump into the scriptures, man. All right. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 1, verse 7. Behold, hold on. Revelation. Wait. Revelation 6 and verse. Let me just read from 1. And I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals, and I heard, as it were, the noise of thunder. One of the four beasts saying, "Come and see." And I saw, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat on him had a bow, and a crown was given unto him, and he went forth conquering and to conquer. All right, now this is talking about Yahushua, when Yahushua comes back, man. All right, this is the four horsemen of the apocalypse that they would tell you in, modern day time, or four horsemen of the apocalypse and things like that, man. All right, well, this first horse is actually Yahushua returning, man. All right, it says, I saw, and behold, a white horse. All right, white represents pure. The horse represents power. Just like, back in the olden days, you had horse-drawn chariots, right? Now, you would have one horse drawing a chariot. You got one horsepower. And, the more sophisticated the person was, they would have multiple horses and multiple chariots drawing multiple horses drawing their chariots, right? You have more horsepower, right? Now, in today's times, right, you have cars, right? The car will represent the chariot, right? And the motor inside the car will represent what? The horse. Nowadays are measured in power based off of what they call horsepower. All right, so you would say a regular little POS economic car might have like 80 to 100 horsepower, really ain't getting nowhere. But then you get to like these Hellcats and shit like that with 700 horsepower, them bitches be getting it, man. Pure power. All right, so when it says a white horse, that's talking about pure power. He's coming back in these chariots. All right, and it says, and he that sat on him had a bow. All right, which is going into a defensive mode or offensive mode, and a crown was given unto him. All right, this is when Yahushua is coming to take the kingdoms, and he went forth to conquer. He went forth conquering and to conquer. All right, going into, well, let's just get the breakdown right here. Revelation 19 and 11. This is the same thing. And I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse. And he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True, and in righteousness he doth judge and make war. His eyes were the flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns. And why did he have many crowns? Because he went forth to conquer, taking the crowns off the heads of these kings, these wicked-ass Edomites that's ruling the earth, man. And all these other nations that's got their dominion right now, man. They're not going to have dominion. They're going to all be in subjection under, first and foremost, Yahushua, man. Or Yahushua, you know what I'm saying, and the children of Israel. All right, so this is him going forth to conquer and take the crowns off the heads of these kings, man. All right, it says, and he had a name written that no man knew but himself. And he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name was called the Word of the Most High. All right, and the armies, all right, this is what these militaries these nations are preparing. This is why they're getting these space commands and everything like that, man. This is why they're getting their military ready, man. Because why? Yahushua is coming back with a military, man. All right, it says, because you have to understand, the children of Israel, we was created in the Most High's image. Physically, on one part, we physically created in his image, in a vague sense, me and Yahushua look alike, both so-called quote unquote black men. All right. You know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, as far as, and also in his image, we was made upright, just like them, loving the righteousness and hating the wickedness, But nevertheless, we all have, everybody on the planet Earth, right, are pretty much created in like the Lord's image in a certain sense, right? Like how, the Lord, people say that the Lord is all love and everything like that. Well, how the hell you more superior than the Lord, man? You have multiple emotions and feelings like that. You can love, you can hate, you can be happy, you can be sad. You can be angry, you can be upset, but the Lord can't be upset. The Lord can't hate. The Lord can't be angry. The Lord, why the Lord got to be all love, man? No, the Lord has all these same emotions and things like that as well, too, man. All right, now the Lord is supposed to be the King of Kings, man. All right, now what do you have? And then the Lord rules with a straight monarchy / dictatorship, man. All right, because ultimately he's a dictator because he reigns supreme, right? But then, as far as like how the men would be on the earth, we had a monarchy set up, ultimately we had a monarchy because we were supposed to have I forgot what it's called when you have I think it's called a theocracy, where you rule by God, pretty much like how Iran has it. Well, they got a president, but then they also have a supreme leader, right? A religious rule, right? That's how we were supposed to be ruled, through the Lord. But nevertheless, we asked for a king, but then the Lord gave it to King David, that he was like, look, man, it's going to be a monarchy straight through your loins. So the kings are only going to come from your loins. It's going to be your sons and your grandsons, and all the way down, man. You know what I'm saying? It's never going to stop with that. All right. But nevertheless, going back to this here image, you see on the earth where before you have these democracies and things like that, before Rome and them, before Greece, all right, you had pretty much nothing but monarchies on the earth, man. All right, where you had kings that would pass down the dominion to their sons and things like that, man. All right. So being made in his image, we all pretty much have things set up like how the Most High, it pretty much is. So if we have militaries and fight wars and things like that, don't you think he does the same thing? Like in the book of, I think, Exodus, it says the Lord is a man of war. All right. Where do you think us humans get this shit from, man? All right. Also, as far as vehicles, we got vehicles to move around with and everything like that to get from one point to another point in a way quicker way. All right, the Lord is the same way, man. All right, he has the angels and Yahushua. They got chariots, man. All right, so-called UFOs that they fly around in, man. All right, so look, this is the same thing. There's nothing new under the sun, man. All right, all the things that we pretty much do, the Lord has the same thing, man. All right, we have a sense of creativity. Where do you think we get that shit from, man? All right, the Lord is a very creative person, and i.e. he created everything, man. All right. So we have that, we have that mindset to create things as well, too, right? So going back to Revelation 19:14, and the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses, clothed in fine linen, white and clean, meaning pure power. It ain't no flaws, man. All right, so the armies which were in heaven, all right, the angels that the Lord is coming back with, all right, followed him upon white horses in pure power, all right, in these chariots, clothed in fine linen, all right? There ain't no flaws in the chariots, man, white and clean, all right? And out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword, that with it he should smite the nations, and he shall rule them with the rod of iron, and tread at the winepress of the fierceness of the wrath of the Almighty. All right. So going into this, we'll get it in 2nd Ezra 13. All right, because it's going to reiterate this here, verse 15. Let me just go down, verse 16. Verse 16, and he had on his vesture and on his thigh name written, King of Kings and Lord of Lords. And I saw an angel standing in the sun, and he cried with a loud voice, saying to all the fowl that fly in the midst of heaven, come and gather yourselves together upon the supper of the great power. All right. Now you can read about that, I believe, in Ezekiel 38 or 39. All right, talking about that great feast. All right, because in the midst of World War III, there's going to be a multitudes and multitudes in the valley of decisions, man. All right, it's going to be bodies on bodies on bodies on bodies, man. All right, so these scavenger birds that eat the flesh of dead animals and things like that, they're gonna be grubbing, man. All right. Verse 18, that you may eat the flesh of kings and the flesh of captains and the flesh of mighty men and the flesh of horses and them that sit on them and the flesh of all men, both free and bond, both small and great. And I saw the beast and the kings of the earth and their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse and against his army. So this is what you have going on right here, man. The kings of the earth, these human beings, Esau and his militaries and things like that, man. All these nations with militaries are going to gather together, like Ronald Reagan said. How small would our problems seem if there was some outside alien threat that came in, how easily we would just put aside our differences and gather together and fight against that outside force, man. And this is exactly what they're doing, man. This is exactly what they're preparing for, man. All right. And the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet that wrought miracles before him, with which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast and them that worshipped the image. These were both cast alive into the lake of fire burning with brimstone. All right. So, and the remnant were slain with the sword of him that sat upon the horse, which the sword proceeded out of his mouth, and all the fowls were filled with their flesh. So you can measure the time diligently looking at these here prophecies, right? So if they're talking about, the false prophet and them being cast into the lake of fire and everything like that. All right. Well, when is the lake of fire gonna be kindled, man? All right. In the midst of World War III, where's the lake of fire gonna be at? Right here in America, man. All right. So in the time when America falls and everything like that, that's when it's gonna come to pass, man. All right. These are gonna give me 1 second, Salah. This is when all these things are gonna take place, man. All right. Let me go. Right here, Revelation 1:7. Behold, he cometh with clouds. Now the clouds that he's coming with is these chariots, man. All right, it's not no regular ass cloud that you see in the sky and everything like that. Nah, man, these are the chariots, right? If you wanted a great example of this, irrefutable proof of that's what this cloud is, man, go back to the time of the Exodus, right? When we was leaving up out of Egypt, right? There was the children of Israel followed a cloud by day and a pillar of fire by night, right? So you have to understand, like, first of all, well, if it's a cloud, you ain't never in your life, ever in your life. Well, what the hell is a cloud anyway? All right, it's water vapors being So if you understand precipitation and everything like that, so the sun heats up the water, oceans, the lakes, and everything like that. All right, draws up the water, all right, into the clouds, and once they get, it turns to vapor. But once it gets heavy enough, all right, they form these clouds and they wind up dropping back down on the earth. Right, so that's nothing more like if you ever been on an airplane, you done flew through the damn clouds, man. All right, so if you was to jump out of an airplane over top of the clouds, your ass is gonna fall straight through them damn clouds, man. Come on, lady, don't hit my car. What you got going on? But yeah, clouds, you can fall right through a cloud, man. There's nothing in them clouds like that that's like a solid object, right? And you've never in your life seen a cloud turn into a pillar of fire, man. You've never seen that shit a day in your life. So when you go back to the Exodus, right, you have to think about this. Now they followed this by day and this pillar of fire by night for 40 years in the wilderness. Now go outside and try to walk up under a cloud for as long as you can. See how that fare out for your ass, man. It's not gonna work out for you, man. All right, so you have to think about what the hell they was following. Then you talk about what was their name? Rahab the harlot, right? When Joshua and Caleb came over through her crib and everything like that, man. She was like, look, man. The men of our nations have seen, they heard what the hell your power did to them Egyptians and the other nations and everything like that. And there's no more might left in them. Their hearts do melt. They scared as shit, man. All right. Now, why would they be saying things like that, man? Because they seen the children of Israel approaching their ass, man. Because as they was being approached by the children of Israel, there was that big ass chariot flying over top of them, man. All right. Now, going back to this cloud by day, you in the fucking desert in the Middle East. You know how hot it is out there? Ain't no trees for no shade, man. All right. So what wound up happening was they was walking, and a chariot was their shade to walk for 40 years out there, man. All right. Now at nighttime, it's if you ever been like to Las Vegas or anything like that, man, out in the desert, you know what I'm saying? Like for one, it's super hot out there. But at nighttime, you have like a clear sky and everything because there's no light pollution, nothing like that out there. It's just nothing but just dirt. You know what I'm saying? But you have to think about this, man. In the middle of the night, they had the lights of the chariot that was giving them light by night. All right. So this was this cloud that covered the sky, kept them in the shade in the daytime. All right. And also gave them light by nighttime, man. And then these other nations that was out there, seeing them being approached by the children of Israel, seeing this big ass chariot approaching them. This is why they were scared as they was approaching them, man. All right. So going into Revelation 1:7, it says, behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him. And they also which pierced him, and all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him. So it says he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him. So when you go into that, basically, for one, it's gonna be televised, but you're gonna actually be able to look up in the sky and see these damn chariots, man. All right, we just getting small glimpses of these chariots here and there, here and there. You very rarely get to see them. But at that point in that time, man, it's gonna be There's a movie, I think it's called District 9, where there was a scenario like that where it comes on, and the plot of the story was before all of that, these chariots had appeared over the towns, and they was just sitting there, and they was sitting there for years on end, and the people kind of got used to them. But then at one point in time, they opened up on their ass, man. This is what it's going to be like, man. These chariots are going to start making themselves, they're making themselves more and more visible now. This is why they have to, everybody got cell phones and uploading all these videos. This is why they got to start releasing some of this here information on the news, because it's just so much for you to hide nowadays, man. It was a lot easier in the 90s where people would be like, oh, I seen a UFO, and people were like, nah, I ain't see it. You tripping, bro. And this and that. Well, where your proof at? How come you didn't take a picture of it? Like, bro, I ain't have no camera on me like that. But now everybody got cameras on them right now. Everybody's walking around and filming things at an instant, and they can just literally upload these videos on the internet, and the whole world can see these things, man. All right, and every civilization in all of history, they all have these so-called UFOs documented. You know what I'm saying? As far as even on the stone tablets and everything like that, man. All right, and even in the scriptures, they have multiple. How do I say? Accounts of them, like Elisha and Elijah, man. I believe it was Elijah that was taken up in a chariot, man. Enoch was taken up in a chariot, man. Yahushua, when he basically when he was crucified and came back, right? But then when he went back up, that's how he went back up. There was men that was looking up, as he was being beamed up into the chariot. There was angels. Why you standing in heaven looking? Man goeth up is the same way he gonna come back down via the chariots, man. All right, so hey, you got to read through the scriptures, man. It's all throughout the scriptures and all throughout history and everything like that. But just like a lot of things that Esau has, he romanticizes these things. All right, make you think that they're fairy tales, like witchcraft. They showed you so many different cartoons with witchcraft and everything like that, Hocus Pocus and Harry Potter, that you think this is just some childhood fables and things like that. But lo and behold, Esau, his old bitch ass, highly believes in witchcraft, man. These niggas is way more righteous than us as far as keeping, like, how you would say, the Sabbaths and things like that, man. All right, there's no movie, no album, no music, none of that shit is put out unless it's actually taken in on basically on a Sabbath. But it's a certain type of Sabbath that they take it in on. They have these little rooms where they do their little seances. Look up this dude, what's his name? John, what was his name? Was it John Todd? I think his name was John Todd. He dead now, but he went in and because he was a part of this, but then he wound up, spilling the beans. And this is what happens when these people go into this type of occulted type of shit, and they think it's all fairy tale stuff, or these scientists think that all this religious type of stuff is fake, and then they become top scientists on top levels. There's just irrefutable proof that they can't deny it no more, man. All right, if they deny it, they just like lying to themselves, man. They know that all this shit is actually out there, man. All right, this is why you see these damn top elites be doing rituals and things like that, man, making sacrifices and things like that, man. All right, they actually do these things to a straight T because they ultimately believe in these things. But what do they portray on the TV? Oh, it's all fake, so that you don't believe into these things and you don't tap into these things, man. Because if you knew these things was real, if you had any wisdom in your mind, all right, you would start going in and calling onto your own power. And your power is far more stronger than their power, man. They got to go to a middleman to go to your power. So just think about that, man. All right, but continuing on. I had a precept coming to mind. Let me read this again. It might come back. Behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him. All right, and they also which pierced him. There was those Roman soldiers, right? So those Roman soldiers, based off of reincarnation, they would be back here again. If the spirit of the prophets is subject unto the prophets, right? If the prophets are gonna come back in the prophets' lines, right, and the Israelites gonna come back in the Israelite lines, and the Edomites gonna come back as Edomites, all these nations coming back as who they were, right? And the wicked, these wicked elites coming back as the wicked elites and everything like that, man. All right, just like how Esau and his, I believe it was his 5 sons and everything like that came back. Look at the Rothschilds when what was his name? Mayor Armshell Bauer or whatever his name was. Him and his 5 sons. See, this was Esau coming back again. You know what I'm saying? And this is that same family. So how much more with these military soldiers and things like that, man? They coming back in their same lot doing the same thing that they was doing, man. So this is why you have these people that's in the military, i.e. they in the military right the fuck now, planning to prepare for these things, man. All right, the Lord has it set up because it's prophesied right here that even those that pierced him is going to see him, and they're going to be willing. They're going to be like, oh shit, man, we gotta pay for our crimes, man. All right. Let me read this again. Behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him, and all kindreds of the earth shall well because of him, even so amen. So Lord willing, the precept may come back to me. Let me grab now. It was in it's right there. Okay, I got you. Where is it at? Give me a second. If I could quote it, I could just look it up. Uh, Give me a second. Okay, I got you. I got you. I got you. Where is it? Yep. Zechariah chapter 5, verse 1. Then I turned and lifted up my eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll. And he said unto me, What seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll, and the length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof is 10 cubits. Then he said unto me, This is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth. For everyone that stealeth shall be cut off, as on this side according to it, and everyone that sweareth shall be cut off, as on that side according to it. You know, and who, you know, like the scriptures say, if a man stealeth the man, or if he be found in his hand, he shall surely die. Right? Now, when you go in the book of Joel, chapter 3, all right, it says, because you have stolen my goodly treasures, roughly paraphrasing, my silver, my gold, and everything like that. Now they actually raided the temple and things like that, but they also took. Let me just grab it real quick. Well, I'll just roughly, for time's sake, you know, Joel chapter 3, right? And when you go into starting at verse 3 on down, right, it's talking about us going into this transatlantic slave trade, right? But that was talking about Esau. 3 and 6. Let me grab it. Right, Joel 3 and 6. Well, let me go up a little bit. Verse 5. Because you have taken my silver and my gold, and have carried into your temples my goodly pleasant things. So like I said, they physically took the actual things from the temple, right? But then also they took the children of Israel, right? Which is, you know, the act, you know, like the Lord's gold and his real silver, you know, like you're gonna be tried in the fire as gold is tried and as silver is tried, right? Twofold. The children of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have you sold into the Grecians, that you might remove them far off from their border. So if a man stealeth a man, or if he be found in his hands, right? And this is the man who did shake the kingdoms. Bear with me, Akim. Let me go up on verse 16, Isaiah 14 and 16. This is talking about Esau, right? Well, this is talking about the other nations looking at Esau. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee, and consider thee, saying, Is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake the kingdoms? Because Esau's the hammer of the earth, that made the world a wilderness, and destroyed the cities thereof, the hammer of the whole earth, that opened not the house of his prisoners. So we just read in Joel how he took the Most High's gold and his silver and his pleasant things, right? And he stole us, right? Then we can also go, where does it say, verse 13. It says, For thou hast said in thy heart, I will ascend into heaven, I will exalt my throne above the stars of the Most High, I will also sit upon the mount of the congregation in the side of the north. So over here in this here hemisphere, you got Esau sitting over top of Jake, man. All right, got us in captivity. He opened not the house of his prisoners, so he stole us, and we're still in his possession. So when the Lord come back, right, when they gonna make war against the Lord and be turned into the lake of fire, measuring the time diligently, we know this is all lining up to be at the same point at the same time. They the ones creating a space force for what purpose, what reason? To fight against the Lord. This is their whole plan, man. This is what you're seeing being played out. These are the prophecies speaking right before your eyes, man. All right, shit is getting real, man. If you don't believe this shit, man, your ass is missile food, man. Because there's no excuse at this point in time, man. The Habakkuk 2 and 3. The vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak. It shall not lie. It will not tarry. It shall surely come, man. It ain't lying. It ain't tarrying. This shit is coming faster than what you believe, man. All right. Look up, for your salvation is nigher than when you believe, man. This is what we got going on right now, man. All right, this is why we're on the highways and the byways warning our people, man. All right, but hey, Esau about to get his ass waxed, man. And he's gonna try his proud ass. The pride of thy heart has deceived thee. All right, though thou mount up to heaven, all right, thou should be taken down into the ground, man. This is what the fuck Esau doing, man. Mounting all the way up to heaven, to the heights of the heavens, man, to outer space, man. This is what Esau's doing, exalting his throne above the stars. You see what I'm saying? This is what Esau got in his mind, the pride of his heart, to actually fight his creator, man. Do you not know that he's the one who created you? You didn't create him. What kind of bullshit is this, man? What kind of pride you got in your heart? But it's the Most High that put the deceived and the deceiver are his, man. He the one deceived your ass and put this here wild ass thought into your mind, man. Got your ass looking stupid out here, man. Thinking you can actually win this rigged ass game, man. Your ass is done for, man. Gonna read something else before I got that other precept. It's all good. Let's just close out with this in 2nd Ezra, chapter 13. All right, let's start at the top. 2nd Ezra 13 and 1. Matter of fact, all right, because they give you the breakdown. This is not well, you misinterpreting it. Like, if you actually read further down, they give you the whole breakdown of what it is. We'll touch on it. 2nd Ezra 13 and 1. And it came to pass after 7 days, I dreamed a dream by night, and lo, there arose a wind from the sea, that it moved all the waves thereof. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. The Lord is coming back with the whole host of the armies of heaven, man. All right, with them chariots, man, with the thousands of heavens, man. All right, go and look up those chariot sightings, man, and the fleets of chariots, man, and there's just so many of them, man. All right, and when he turned his countenance to look, all things trembled that were seen under him. All right. Slacker, give me a sec. Continuing on, it says, and after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of the number from the four winds of heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. So these are these other nations that's going to be banding together, man. And this is all going to take place in the midst of World War III. Just like Ronald Reagan spoke about it. Because why? They understand the prophecies. They understand what the hell's going on, man. They know that they're going to be in the middle of World War III. Right, which is all a trial run for them developing these weapons and reducing the population of the earth to get this here new world order system and get rid of Jake so that they can rule and reign supreme. But they deceived, man. All right, the Lord put the spirit on them to create those damn weapons of the Lord's indignation to destroy these stupid ass Edomites, man. All right, got their ass deceived, thinking that they're gonna sit there and try to dupe the earth and dupe the Lord and juke them out and shit like that and come out supreme. No, man, these niggas is done for, man. All right, but nevertheless, in the midst of World War III, they're going to be fighting one another. Then the chariots is going to show up, and they're going to turn and fight against the Lord, man. All right, but the Lord is going to ultimately dominate on all these nations, man. Like we read earlier, he went forth conquering and to conquer, man. All right, and he took many crowns off the heads of these kings, man. This is the time frame that this is all going to happen, man, simultaneously, man. All right, it says, let me read verse 5 again. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of heaven. All right, so all the nations is going to be gathered together, all right, to fight against the Lord, to subdue the man that came out of the sea. And I beheld, and lo, he had graven himself a great mountain and flew up upon it. So again, they in the scriptures, well, they do call them the chariots of the Lord, right? They do call them chariots, but they're not going to use the term UFO. UFO is an acronym, means unidentified flying object. So in a reality, you know what I'm saying? If you've never seen a drone flying before, and you see a drone up there flying, you don't know what the hell it is, that could be a UFO unto you, man. But as far as, these basically spacecraft, that's on a whole nother level. Do exist, man. That's something completely different. This is not no, a military, secret operation, new vehicle that they using and everything like that, man. Yeah, they got that type of shit, but this ain't what we talking about, man. They got plenty of videos of these things defying the laws of physics, man. All right, they got where they launched off missiles and these chariots came out of nowhere and flew in front of these missiles and disabled them missiles right there in front of their eyes, man. There's multiple videos of these things, man. All right, multiple videos of these things, man. All right. Oh, but the point I was going to get at is, they talk about it as a mountain. All right, they use mountains, whirlwinds, clouds. All these things are representations of these chariots, man. All right, a flying roll. All right, these things are all code name for basically the so-called UFO, man, the chariots of Israel, man. All right, just like how you don't see the word America in the scriptures, but what? Spiritually Sodom is spiritually Egypt, Babylon the Great, Mystery Babylon, the Great Whore. All right, these things are all indicative to being America, man. All right. Let me go back to verse 6. But I beheld, and lo, he had graven himself a great mountain and flew up upon it. And I would have seen the region of the place whereout the hill was graven, and I could not. And after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet durst fight. Give me 1 second. So, what you have to understand is, you have to put yourself into these people's perspective. These top pilots and everything like that, especially like the American or the Russian pilots, man, because especially in modern days time, or all throughout all times, man, they had the most sophisticated aircraft, man. They're the most sophisticated pilots that there are out there, man. All right, they didn't see the most shit out there, and also these commercial pilots, man. All right, these people, just like how if you riding in your car, and you've been driving for 5, 10, 20 years, right? You know what regular cars look like and everything like that. So you driving down the street, don't nothing really how do I say, nothing really catches your attention, because you seen the multitude of cars, even though there's a variation of different type of cars, trucks, motorcycles, vans, buses, and things like that that's riding around on the streets, police cars, ambulance, fire trucks, right? Now, when you see something that you ain't seen beforehand, like those Can-Ams, those little 3-wheel like motorcycle type things where it's 2 wheels in the front and 1 in the back, let one of them bad boys pass you. Or you see somebody driving some weird ass looking little car that you've never seen before, something weird. Like if you've seen a hovering car, or these how you call them, those electric cars, right? Let an electric car pass by you for the first time and you don't hear it making no noise. You're like, what the fuck is that? Or one of these Tesla cars, they got the new summon mode where you can be coming out the store and you can summon your car, and your car pulls out its parking space and come and pick you up and everything like that. The normal person is not used to seeing a car driving itself by itself like that with nobody inside the car, right? So you would do a double take because it's something that's not normal onto you. Even though you're a professional driver, you've been driving for 20 years, it's easy for you to spot something that ain't normal, man. All right, you're not gonna mistake that. Like, nah, bro. You tell somebody, bro, I seen a car driving itself today. It was nobody behind the wheel. Some people might call you out as being crazy, like, bro, you tripping. But for damn sure, you're like, bro, I've been driving for 20 years. I know what the hell it's like to see a car with people driving. This car ain't have nobody in it. There was no tents. It wasn't raining. It was a clear day, daylight. I wasn't on no drugs, no alcohol. There was nothing obscuring my vision or nothing like that. I know what I saw, bro. There was nobody driving this car, bro. I know what the hell I seen, man. Or I seen a motorcycle driving itself down the damn road, bro. I know what the hell I seen, man. There's nobody driving that. The same way that these pilots that's in the military, that have seen all kind of top secret military aircraft and things like that, these commercial pilots that fly day in and day out, this is what they do, man. So if they see something that they ain't never seen before, or maneuvers they've never seen before, they know how close that they can fly beside one another without that air draft sucking them into one another, or they losing flight and drag and everything like that. They know about all those different things, man. All right, but when they see something that's 3 times the size of a damn plane flying directly over top of their ass, or right in front of their ass, or right behind their ass, come out of nowhere, make an immediate left turn or immediate right turn. All right, they know that this ain't, you can read that in Ezekiel chapter 1. All right, how they say like they turn not whenever they go with. All right, they don't have to be like airplanes that have to bank to go left or go right. They just make it a flat left turn, a flat right turn, or go straight up, go straight down. Airplanes, if they want to make a left turn, they got to, go out and make a curve and everything like that, man. All right, they don't just make a straight 90-degree turn like that, man. You don't have planes that just sit there and just instantly in 1 second go from the ground level to straight up 5,000, 2,000, 20,000, 50,000 feet up in the air, man. Or flying, hey, they had a news report the other day talking about these UFOs and how it was flying at breaking the sound barrier, right? Now, if you understand about things that are supersonic, right, they break the sound barrier, and that's where you get those sonic booms from, right? Because they're traveling faster than the speed of sound. Now, if you take a towel, you wind it up like a rag, and you pop that towel or whatever, you put, you wet the tip of it, and we hear that popping noise, that's because that's actually breaking the sound barrier, and that's just pop. You know what I'm saying? It's actually, the sound is further back from where the actual object is at. So when you see these planes and things, like even if you look at a commercial plane in the sky, you'll see the plane, and then you'll hear the sound a little bit behind it. Now, with these fighter jets is breaking the sound barrier and everything like that, man, all right, you hear these loud explosions, boom, boom, boom. Or if you see a big-ass explosion go explosion actually go off, and if you're far enough back, they have what they call a shock wave that'll come at you way later on, and then you actually hear the boom later on in life, man. All right, like boom way later on. All right, now they talk about that these military men talking about they've been seeing chariots that's flying faster than the speed of sound, which is breaking the sound barrier, which would leave a sonic boom behind it, but it ain't make no sound at all, man. All right, defying physics and all these different things, man. They're like, wait, we ain't got no shit just like this, man. All right, mankind can't be going at certain speeds where, you know, the straight G-forces. This is why they got these new AI planes right now, because some of the maneuvers and things be inside of it would die, you know what I'm saying, from all the G-forces and everything like that, man. You just can't go, you know, at the fair, you get in that one rod, that graviton rod, where they spin you around in a circle and you kind of like up on the walls or whatever, whatnot. You can't walk forward because so many G-forces. Or you get into a car, a fast car, and you step on the gas and that shit throw you back into the seat. That's just a regular fucking car, man. Just imagine when you in a fighter jet taking off on an aircraft carrier, how many G-forces that is to go from like 0 to 300-400 mile an hour in a couple hundred feet, man. All right, or on a motor. Things, man. Imagine being on the front of a bullet, man. All right, you don't even see the bullet leaving the gun, man. That's going fast. But these chariots are so much more faster than those, man. All right, they had in Iran where there was a chariot, it was firing a bunch of rounds at this here chariot, man. And a bunch of rounds at this chariot. The chariot's just going back and forth, zigzagging. Didn't get hit not one time. You see it speeding up and man, this shit was crazy, man. All right, but nevertheless, this is why they're going to be afraid, man. But the Lord is going to put the spirit on them to fight, man. The Lord already got the spirit on them now to develop certain technologies like these AI fighter jets, because they know that they're going to be scared and they ain't going to want to fight. But look, they got it to where the AI is going to be fighting against the Lord and everything like that, man. All right. Verse 8 again. After this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet durst fight. And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war. But only I saw that he sent out of his mouth, as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempest, right? Well, and they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and it fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight, and burned them up every one, so that upon the sudden of an innumerable multitude nothing was to be perceived, only dust and the smell of smoke. And when I saw this, I was afraid. Now, we read that earlier in Revelation. Where did we read that at? I think 19. Yep, verse 15, 19 and 15. And out of his mouth goeth the sharp sword, as it he should smite the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron, and he tread the winepress with the fierceness of the wrath of the Almighty. So going back to 2 Ezra 13, right? This is going into blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, right? This is what you call concentrated heat, which is basically a laser beam, right? That's what a laser beam is. It's concentrated heat. Like if you take a magnifying glass, you got the sun that's got heat that's putting it down on the earth. But if you take a magnifying glass, right, and you get it at the right angle, you can pretty much start fires with that. Because why? It's concentrating the rays of light from the sun and that heat into a small area, into a concentrated area, and it gets super hot to where it's going to start burning through shit, man. All right, creating like a laser beam. But this is going to be so much more hotter than that, man. All right, these are the laser beams that's going to be coming up out of the chariots, man. Esau got laser beams, man. What the hell you think? He call them dual weapons, direct energy weapons, man. ELF weapons, extreme. In fact, if you want to see them use a direct energy weapon, go back to September 11th, 2001. There was an event that happened there, right? Now, when you seen those structures that collapsed, all right, I don't want to get taken down, but when you see those structures collapsed, right, we're going to read about it here. When you see those structures collapse, they collapsed at about 8 to 10 seconds, right? Now, you got to think about it. Now, if it was the pancake floor by floor, there would be resistance. You would have resistance, right? Now, you got to think about how much concrete the outer shell of that building had. How many tons of concrete the outer shell of that building contained, man. All right, and think about how many tons of steel that it took. Go look up documentaries on them building those buildings, and how many tons of steel that they had to put inside that building to create the the skeletal insides of those buildings, man. Think about how many feet and miles of wires they had to put inside of those buildings, man. How much wood they had to put in those buildings. How much, again, the steel and the metal pipings they had to put in those buildings, man. All right, all the furniture they got in those buildings, man. All the people and all the glass and all the material that was in those buildings, man. All right. In a matter of 8 seconds, all that shit was turned into just straight dust and the smell of smoke, man. All right, and you've seen it. People was running in 8 seconds. All that material and matter was just ground into straight powder in 8 seconds, man. All right, that's to show you what a goddamn laser beam can do. It's called a direct energy weapon, man, or a DEW weapon. All right, concentrated heat, man. That shit don't play, man. All right, but let's read about it here in the scriptures, man. All right, it says, and all they were mixed together, they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and it fell with violence upon the multitude which were prepared to fight, and burned them up every one. So again, we're about to read. You want another visualization of this? Watch that movie with Tom Cruise called The War of the Worlds. Right now, you see those are the little tripods that came out of the ground. They started integrating the people and hitting them with such precision that it didn't even burn up their clothes. It was just the people, man. The people clothes was falling off of them, and it was just turning into dust. And you see, and all of a sudden, it was being covered with the dust and the dust of the people, man. All right, their remains, man. All right, so you can see where do you think Esau get these ideas from, man? All right, and really, this is where they get the movie Independence Day from. All right, where they got that chariot that's on top of the building when it first opens up, and that mouth opened up, and then those people were up there with the signs and everything, and all of a sudden they zap the building, and then the building just, it explodes. But it would be more like what happened on September 11, 2001. Where do you think they get all this here shit from, man? All right, it's nothing new under the sun. The script is already written in the Bible, man. All right, it says, and it fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight, and burned them up every one, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and the smell of smoke. And when I saw this, I was afraid. All right, so basically what Ezra was seeing was like the movie The War of the Worlds, man. Being in the movie The War of the Worlds with Tom Cruise and shit like that, running, how Tom Cruise was scared, like, what the fuck is this coming out the ground? And everybody running, they getting zapped and everything like that. Or September 11th, all them people, when them buildings started collapsing, man. All right, them people was running for dear life and being covered with just dead bodies and cement and metal and all that shit all in an instant, man. All right, go back and watch that. This is what you have coming onto this here earth, man. Now let me jump down a little bit, because like I said, they give you the breakdown of what all this here is. Let me read just verse 31. Verse 31, and one shall undertake to fight against another, one city against another, one place against another, one people against another. All right, going into what? Matthew 24, wars and rumors of wars, nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom. Man, all right. So you in the midst of World War III, right? It says, and one shall undertake to fight against another, one city against another, one place against another, one people against another, and one realm against another. So we in the physical realm right here, but then you also got the spiritual realm, like where the Lord and all them are at, man. All right, we got mankind down here with our mankind weapons, and you got the Lord and their weapons from the heavens, man. All right, they're going to want to fight against one another, man. All right. Oh, I remember the precept I'm going to close out on. And then, and the time shall be when these things shall come to pass, and the signs shall happen, which I showed thee before. Then shall my son be declared, whom thou sawest as a man ascending. So that was Yahushua in his return. And when all the people hear his voice, every man shall in their own land leave the battle. They have one against another. Like Ronald Reagan said, they was fighting against one another, but they're going to leave fighting each other. All right. And an innumerable multitude shall be gathered together, as thou sawest them, willing to come and to overcome him by fighting. So look, they're going to come and try to fight the Lord. All right. And that's going to be their end all be all. All right. Okay, I got you. We're going to go to Revelation 12 and close out here. 12 and 7, I think. Yep. Revelation 12 and 7. And there was a war in heaven. All right. Now this here heaven that it's talking about. All right. Because you got multiple heavens. You got the heavens where the birds fly. You got the heavens where the space is. Right. You got the heavens where like the spiritual realm where the Most High is, Then you also have the heavens of like a condition. Like Esau's in his heaven right now. And we're in our hell right now. But you could be at work sitting right next to an Edomite, but he's in his heaven and you in your hell. But this here heaven is talking about where the birds and the planes and things like that fight. Also, you have like space as well too. But nevertheless, they're gonna be fighting here. All right. There was a war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon. So Michael, like the chief top general in the military, up under Yahushua, right? And his angels fought against the dragon. So like we read about, and his armies to fight against these mankind. All right. Him and his angels fought against the dragon. The dragon, going into Revelation 18 about basically Esau and all these other nations, the horde that ride upon the beast, and then technically all the other nations as well too. It says it fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels. Now the dragon's angels is talking about his military men, all right, and all their equipment that they have, and prevailed not, neither was their place found anymore in heaven. So, the Christians would say, oh, this is when Satan was cast out of heaven. No, this is when he went forth to conquer and conquering, in Revelation 19, about how he went and he took the crowns off the heads of these kings, man. He's taking the dominion out of these heathens' hands, and Yahushua is going to reign supreme, man. Asking me, that I shall give thee the heathen for thy inheritance and the uttermost part of the earth for thy possession, Psalms 2 and 8, man. All right, well, hell, read all Psalms chapter 2 and Psalms chapter 46, because that's going into the same thing about World War III and how when the Lord come back, they're going to be trying to fight one another and jockeying for position to rule next. But ultimately, it's going to be the Lord and the children of Israel is going to rule after this here battle goes down. All right. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. And he was cast into the earth, and his angels was cast out with him. All right. And I heard a loud voice saying, salvation and strength of the kingdom of our power and the power of his Hamashiach, and the accuser of our brethren is cast down, who accused them before our power day and night. So basically, this is how it's all going to end. World War III is going to end when Yahushua is going to reign supreme, man. All right, and we're going to gain. Well, is it the same chapter? No. Daniel. It's in the book of Daniel where it talks about that. It's the same thing. Same thing we're reading here. Oh wait. Let me read verse 26 to 27. But the judgment shall sit, and they shall take away his dominion and consume it and destroy it to the end, going into the fourth beast, Esau and his rulership, But this is when the time when the Lord is going to come back, all right? And the kingdom and the dominion of the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominion shall serve and obey him, all right? So this is going to be basically the time. Let me read verse 21 and 22. And I beheld the same horn made war with the saints and prevailed against them until the Ancient of Days came, and judgment was given to the saints of the Most High, and the time came that the saints possessed the kingdom. So, hey, we know what time we are in based off of measuring the times diligently, man. World War III is brewing, the mark of the beast is brewing, all the prophecies are speaking. You know what I'm saying? Now it's the time where Esau's about to make war against the saints. You know what I'm saying? Ultimately, the Lord's going to come back and take Esau out of power, man. Slacking for this here lesson being so long, but just was rolling through the spirit. Lord willing, the elect was edified with this here lesson. Until next time, I'm going to say, call halal, Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh Shah, Hashem, Rakakudash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone that taught us his truth and that rule well. And citation, much love for you, occupying pushing his truth and sincerity over the four corners of the earth, and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. Until next time, I say, stay strong. Shalom.